Micro brews, dude.
Dude. Craft brews and casual conversations. Once again, the guestiest guest of all the guests is continuing the streak. I don't think anyone can compete with him at this point. His name is Gough, and he is from Beernuts Productions and also from Australia. What up, dude?
How you going, Drew? I'm doing well. Are you well? You just told me you ran 10 miles. You're just a pro athlete these days.
Yeah, I ran 5 yesterday, ran 10 today. Trying to build it up a little bit and maybe run a marathon one day, but one day at a time.
But I was going to ask, was there a goal, or are you just doing it for fun at this point?
I mean, I've been running for a while, like for a handful of years, and it's just like a nice stress reliever. And but yeah, I would like to do a full marathon at one point in time. I've done, I think, 12 official half marathons. I've ran other half marathons just in training, but never the full. So maybe one day we'll see.
Well, you know, I'm with you 100%. So you keep those legs pumping.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm just trying to live longer, and all that good stuff. But you're here to talk about your new film, The Proposal. Not starring who is it? Who's in that Proposal movie? It's not Ryan Gosling, it's Ryan Reynolds, right?
Oh, yes. No, but this is far superior to anything Ryan Reynolds has ever done. I'm sure you would agree.
Yeah, I've seen Green Lantern. That was horrible.
Harsh but fair. In Ryan Reynolds' defense, I believe he's also pointed out that it probably wasn't the best film of his career. So I think you're not alone in those thoughts.
Yeah, it was trash. I saw it in 3D, wasted a lot of money, but hey, can't win them all. But your proposal is fun. It's I like that it I like how it all unfolds. Like really, it kind of seems like a commentary on social media influencers and kind of this influence culture, and like how like something like a genuine interactions are now like fabricated in so many situations these days. Everything's got to be through the lens of a camera. There's no such thing as like privacy anymore. Was that kind of what you're going for?
Yeah, so just over the last couple of years, really, I've noticed on social media, Instagram especially, that people would do things like engagements, like marriage proposals, and they'd be like, oh, this is such a surprise. And yet it was clearly so incredibly staged. I mean, their hair and makeup was done, and they were wearing a beautiful dress, and they had a professional photographer. And like there was one I saw where they even had like an arch full of flowers. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, and there was one where the girl actually designed the engagement ring, and then she's like, this is such a surprise. And I'm like, in what world are we living in here? Like, this is outrageous. So I thought I need to get this out of my system by mocking them in the way of a film. So that's exactly what I did. So as you point out, the proposal, a young man is wanting to propose to his girlfriend, but yeah, she's one of these influencers, and it's got to be all done just perfectly. So that's kind of the basic premise, making fun of all of those Instagrammers out there.
And he did it on a nice beach. It looked like a great little scenery there. I know you're on the Gold Coast there, so it looked great. And kind of how it's broken up with kind of like two parts. There's the initial one that was like meant to be a genuine experience just between two people, and then it's like, oh no, we can't do this, and it's, you know, and then it goes into the mocking side of it, and then you see kind of how that aftermath pans out, if you will.
Yes, indeed. Yes. So yeah, it in regards to the location, luckily we live on the Gold Coast where it's got beautiful beaches, and a friend of mine lived near where we filmed, so that's how I know that bit of beach exists, because it's a beautiful area, and yet nobody uses that part of the beach, which I will never understand. So I'm like, will be cool to film there, because, you know, Scott and everybody's there like, are you sure this is going to be okay, filming on the beach? I mean, there's not going to be passers-by interrupting us. And I'm like, no, nobody uses that area of the beach, and it's lovely. So, yeah, we had and we were lucky with the weather, because as you saw, all of it's done on the beach. Mm-hmm. So if it was raining, we were going to be in a bit of strife. But luckily we had good weather, and it all turned out really, really well. I was super happy actually with how it all came about and came together.
I noticed that there weren't that many people on the beach because I was like, obviously this is like a public place that people can access, and you see like maybe like 2 or 3 people in the background, and I was like, wow, I don't know, maybe it was like a Wednesday or something when everyone else is busy, but that is unfortunate that it's underutilized, or maybe it's nice for your friend that lives right there, because then it's kind of like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a beautiful surf beach. I mean, you could go swimming there. There's a very luxury apartment building that overlooks that area of the beach. And I was saying to a couple of members of the crew, I'm like, man, if I had to spare, $6-7 million to buy an apartment in that building, then I would be swimming there every morning of my life. As soon as I would roll out of bed, I would just go onto the beach and just go for a lovely swim every single morning. But not everybody thinks that way apparently. But hey, worked for me. So we got a fabulous location to do our film in. So it was really cool.
And you play into the location too with like, oh, my name is supposed to be written in the sand with a heart and doves and all this kind of stuff, and you're laying out all these options. So it's good that like the scenery and the setting plays into just that influencer mindset, because that's totally what it would be too. It would be rose petals going all over the place and just absolutely insane. So what was your writing process of this? So it's like the runtime's about 23 minutes or so. Kind of how long did it take to get from script to finished product?
Well, the script was pretty easy to write because essentially, I mean, there are other actors involved, but it's pretty much just me and Taya for the whole time. So I gave her the script. I gave her 14 weeks to learn the lines because she's got quite a few lines to learn. So she had about 14 weeks to learn her lines, and then just rehearsals and all the stuff that we usually do with the other actors and me and Taya as well. So that was all pretty standard, really. So I got started at the beginning of February, and we filmed at the beginning of May. So it was all pretty much how all the films get made. There was nothing different or special really about it, except for crossing my fingers that we were going to have a fine sunny day. Besides that concern, because everybody that's in it I've worked with before, so all the crew members I'd worked with before and all the actors I'd worked with before, and so I knew I could trust everybody to do what I needed them to do, and everybody did a super job, so I was really happy.
Yeah, what's your kind of shoot schedule? Did you shot for a couple of days, or was it kind of like one day only?
Yeah, so it was just pretty much a morning. So we got down there 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, and we filmed all of the suit scenes first, where I'm wearing my suit, and then at about 12 I got changed into the other costume, and so did Taya, and we filmed scene 1 last, and then we were out by. We finished about 1:30 in the afternoon. So we started at 9, finished at 1:30. But we can only do it like that because I'm so organised with how everything's done. So like me and the actors are all rehearsed, so we can just get in there and do it straight away. Right. I have a lot of production meetings and stuff with Scott, so he knows exactly what equipment he needs and what angles we're going to film and how many cameras we need, because we had a 3-camera setup for this. So, all the stuff that is required. So, everything is organised down to the tiniest little bit. And, the only problem we kind of had was it was an outrageously warm day because we're going into winter now, and it was like summer temperatures. And Maddie, the makeup artist, her makeup was actually melting because it was so hot being outside. So that was probably our only concern. But besides that, it actually all went really well. So, very pleased.
What's a winter temperature where you're at?
Oh, on the Gold Coast, we're a lot like Florida. So it doesn't get, in Fahrenheit, I guess it doesn't get past about 70.
Sure.
But I think that would equal out correctly. But, so it doesn't get really cold. It is funny, though, because those people who grew up on the Gold Coast, they freak out. If it gets below like 80 degrees, the jackets come out, the long pants. It's like they've got the snow jackets. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? It's a beautiful day. It's lovely. But, yeah, they tend to freak out if it gets if it gets below about 20 degrees Celsius. That's when they freak out. Which I mean, for Wisconsin, it's a beautiful summer's day. 20 degrees Celsius. It's what, about 85, something like that. So it's a lovely day. But yeah, they're a strange bunch here on the Gold Coast. But yeah, it was unseasonably hot. It was a very hot day, actually. It was probably pushing 90 degrees Fahrenheit when we're going into winter. So it was, yeah, outrageously warm. So, yes.
It sounds, yeah, like it was a high of 79 today where I'm at in Wisconsin, and that everyone's sweating their ass off, and they're like, well, as little clothing as possible to get outside and everything like that. So it's, yeah, a different world, but that's cool. That actually sounds really nice, because our winters are, 100 degrees colder than that. So, but yeah, that's awesome. I did enjoy this one, and I did notice like the different camera angles in a little bit too with it. So having that 3 camera setup was probably super beneficial, especially in that outdoor setting. Have you, most of this is mocking kind of things that you've seen on the internet and situations like that, but have you ever proposed to anybody, Gough?
No, I haven't. I've never, a woman's never put up with me for that amount of time where I'd be in a position to propose. So no, there's been no proposal. So none of this was done from personal experience. I just, like I say, it was just making fun of all those idiots on Instagram that have to do staged real life things. So, because I just, it's funny when I see things like over and over again that sort of irritate me. Like, I'm kind of weird. Things irritate me that really shouldn't irritate me. And that's one of them. Like when I see something on Instagram and I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. That is ridiculous behavior. And it grinds me, and I can't let it go. So my way of releasing that is by turning it into a script. So, yeah.
Well, you have plenty of content and plenty of things on the internet that will definitely spark that creative process, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of idiots out there. There's no doubt about that. But so yeah, we'll see if anybody else can inspire me with their tomfoolery. But yeah, no, like I say, man, I'm glad you enjoyed the film. I was really happy with how it turned out. I thought Taya did a magnificent job as my social media painful lady girlfriend, and I was just super happy with how it all came out. So what I do is, as well, to go back to your previous question, is when I give the script to the actors, because I know I've got the 3 cameras that we can use, we shoot it all in sort of one go, and I tell them they need to think of it like a stage play. So if they have that in the back of their mind, like, it's a stage play, not a film, then they're better off with learning their lines and all that sort of stuff, because they know there's not going to be any cuts or edits. But obviously using the 3 cameras, we can cut and edit if we need to, but it's just you lose the flow and momentum if you stop and set up another shot and all that sort of stuff. So I much prefer shooting things all in one go.
I've kind of noticed that too, and I talked to Rob, my co-host, too, because I said I talked to him earlier today. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk to Gough tonight, and because he, Rob is very much like trying to get into that creative world as well. And I said, I was like, yeah, like Gough stuff is like, I was like, it reminds me of a play a lot of times with like just how like, because Rob gets like really like kind of absorbed into like, he kind of overthinks it sometimes about like the execution of the filming and stuff. And I was like, dude, if you just do it, like, think of it like, just write it like a play kind of, and just see how it turns out. And maybe that you could get something out of that. So like, yeah, that's interesting that you said that, because I was just like, that's kind of what I envision a little bit when I watch your stuff, is I see kind of like a play.
Yeah, so we're lucky that we've got the 3 cameras, which means that it does help with the edit and all that sort of stuff. And I tell them, if you make a mistake, that's fine. You just take a breath and start your sentence again, and we can easily fix it in the edit. But it means also that you don't lose momentum. So that with comedy especially, it's all about timing and rhythm and momentum. So you got to keep it going, because if you stop and start and stop and start and stop and start, tones and inflections, you lose all of that kind of stuff. Right. So, yeah, so it's really important that we're able to just sort of film it out in one go. Plus also timing. We've only got a limited amount of time.
Right.
So we can't be, farting around and all that sort of stuff. We've got to get in there and do it as best as we can, as quickly as we can.
Yeah, and I think you do a good job with that. And like, yeah, it's nice that it kind of flows together like that, because then it's like you're getting a real time, real experience, that's just been captured on film, almost like the influencers want it. So yeah, it flows really well. I also like, without giving anything away, but like I like the approach to the ending as well.
Yes, yes. Well, it's always good to see the other side of things, isn't it? So I thought we'd have the other side, sneaking in there with a bit of because I do like my sarcasm. So there's it's all a little bit sarcastic towards the end in regards to the juxtaposition, I suppose you would say. So yes, I was quite when I wrote that little bit, I was quite pleased because I needed something because after I'd finished sort of that scene too, I was a little bit like, well, how am I gonna wrap this up? I need to wrap this up somehow. And then the light bulb moment came of how we should end it. So yes, that's it took a minute or two to come up with that, but yeah, I was pleased with how that all worked out.
You could make this almost like a trilogy or a saga. You have the proposal, maybe you have like the birth, and then you have like the divorce or or something, the prenup or something like that.
It's not a bad idea at all, Drew. I might have to steal that. It's a fine idea.
It's for yours for the taking, Gough. You're the creative one over here. So yeah, that's great, man. It's it's enjoyable, and it you watch it and it feels like it goes quick because of that flow and because of the way, like, the chemistry. Obviously, working with people that you've worked with before probably helps with that too, because they know how you are, like how you want things done, and your direction style and all that. So it's probably beneficial that you go that route.
Yes, no, 100%. Yeah, because we've discussed previously, my films are done because of me being blind and all. My films are done a little bit differently to how, and also I didn't go through university and do all the traditional things.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I do things is a little bit different to how a traditional film set is run, but it works for me. So as long as everybody knows my style and what I like and what I don't like, then there's never any problems. So yeah, but it is always obviously beneficial working with the same folks whenever possible. So, and look, at the end of the day, they all do a wonderful job. So it's in my best interest to employ them again, because it would be silly not to when they do such a great job.
I know you said, there isn't like a ton of kind of like original content in television and film in the world of Australia. Is there like a lot? Do Broadway plays or plays get over there at all ever?
Oh, kind of. We've only really got we've got two sort of. There's a QPAC in Brisbane, which is quite large. I think that holds about 2,500. And then they've got the Home of the Arts here on the Gold Coast, which holds about 1,500. And they'll have, occasionally they will, when I've seen Book of Mormon, so I saw
That's
that
awesome.
when that came through about 10 years ago now. And then I saw Hamilton, about 3-4 years ago when that came through. So I've seen them, but we don't get a huge amount of stuff. There's not, because there's just not the venues, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we don't get a lot of stuff. So, I mean, there are touring shows. One of the actors I've worked with a lot, she got a job in Chicago, the musical Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And she toured the country doing that. So that was a year-long tour. So that was a nice gig for her. And before that, she did Hairspray and did a year's tour. It was the same company that did both, which is how she got Chicago, because they saw her in Hairspray and they booked her then for Chicago. So, I mean, there are touring shows and whatnot, but there's not a lot of them. So, no, it's not like it's a mecca of entertainment going on. So, no.
Yeah, that's too bad. Where I live is kind of like, I'm an hour away from kind of all the big cities in Wisconsin, and we do have some access to a lot of good shows. They're all super expensive, so it's not like we go to a ton of them. But yeah, I did see Book of Mormon. The last musical I saw was the Beetlejuice musical. It was awesome.
Okay, yeah, I believe that might be touring Australia in about 6 months or so, because I think I saw an advert for that. So, yes, I think we're getting that one as well. But, yeah, Book of Mormon was 11 out of 10. That was so great. I loved everything about that. That was fabulous.
Have you ever considered taking any of the things you've done and throwing them on the stage?
Well, I have, but it's a very expensive process.
Yeah.
So that put a fork in that very quickly. But like even the proposal, I mean, that would work on stage, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so yeah, no, there's quite a bit of my stuff just because of the way it's written, as we were talking about earlier, that would actually work for stage. But no, it's all very expensive to do that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
I think I'll stick to my films and the downloads, I think, at the minute.
That's all right. Yeah. And I mean, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, they say, you know? And you have plenty of content on your website, plenty of audio. You're still doing the podcast, correct? I see podcast feed popping up in my feed every once in a while.
Yeah. We got tons of stuff now. So the proposal was Beernuts Productions' 36th film. Then we've got about 20 audio downloads, which are the audio sketches, which are scripted with actors. Then we've got, the podcast. I think we've done 98 episodes of the podcast. So nearly up to triple figures. So when you go to beernutsproductions.com, there's a mountain of content there for people to enjoy. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they definitely should do that. It's always a good time. I always enjoy watching everything that you got going on. It's always good, and it's like, I don't know, like it's impressive that you said, like, you know, you're in the back half of the 30s when it comes to films, and it's like, how, you know, you crank a lot of things out. You're quick and efficient with it too, and it's just it's impressive. So kudos to you for always just having the wheel spinning and the process going, because most would like be burnt out by now, or just be like, I'm not going to do this. I wrote a page and that's all I got.
No, you got to keep going, man. And plus, this is I love what I do. You know, I really do. I genuinely love what I do. I've wanted to do this all my life. So, yeah, when I started up Beernuts Productions, I started the company back in 2006, but I didn't release my first project till 2010. So it took a little bit of time to get things moving. But once I did, and once I sort of got the hang of how to do things and how things, work the best in my world, at least, then I was able to sort of get a bit of a routine and momentum going, and just pump out as much content as I can for the folks out there to enjoy.
What you got? Do you have anything cooking up in the chamber now? I mean, obviously we're celebrating this release and promoting this release and encouraging people to watch, but what's anything else stewing?
There's always things bubbling away in the background. So I'm hoping to do another couple of audio downloads
Nice.
in the next month or so. So there'll be a few more audio downloads for people to listen to. So they're always a bit of fun to do, because obviously you can do things with audio that you can't do with video, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have both options available to me. So if I write something and I'm like, I think that's going to work better just as audio, then I've got the ability to do that. So I like that I've got the two different options. That makes life a little bit easier for me for production wise. I
really think, and a lot of podcasts and stuff have kind of like taken this under their wing, but like I think, like, you know, the old school radio dramas are like, I think those are great. We did, we always do something around Christmas where it's usually like somewhat scripted, something that I write, and then we kind of have like an outline of things that we need to say, but kind of leave it free form. But this last one we did is we were old school detectives, and like it was so fun. Like I enjoy that whole process of recording it, but then like editing it, throwing in the sounds, like throwing in like the transitions and all that kind of stuff. Like that's just kind of my zone, and I wish I had more time to do that, because it's so fun, and I wish people appreciated it a little bit more, because like you said, like, well, especially with like audio storytelling is it's not like more important than visual, but it's like it's hard to do it because you have to capture somebody with that. And I just think it's so impressive when people are able to do that I just love it. And making films isn't easy either, but like something about the audio, like stories, I think that are special. And I wish people paid more attention to.
Well, the thing that when I get the actors in to do the audio, I always have to remind them, because they're used to doing video, not just audio, that they've only got their voice to deliver the character. So like facial expressions and all that sort of stuff, body language, none of that matters. So all they've got is their voice to tell the story. So it does take a bit of talent to be able to pull it off successfully. And so when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, so between the years of 96 to 99, so those 4 years, there was two comedians on Australian radio, Tony Martin and Mick Malloy. And they would do, and no one's done this since, which is a shame, but they had 2 hours and they were the first people to be simulcast around the country. So they were on 50 radio stations around the country, and they would do 2 hours and they would do sketches and all kinds of things. And I mean,
awesome.
like the production that would go into that, they had two people that would just purely work on their sketches. And like, it was just incredible. Like, it was so funny and so clever. And like, the sketches would be outrageous, but they were just brilliantly funny. And I remember, because I'd be on the bus going home from school, and all the kids, because back those days, everyone's got their Walkmans, if you remember the old CD Walkmans. Everyone's got their Walkmans. But I was listening to Martin Malloy on the radio, and I'm laughing and having a good time because I'm a comedy nerd, and everyone thought I was a weirdo because I'm listening to these two comedians doing all these hilarious sketches and this amazing audio quality. I mean, I can't begin to tell you. You'd be able to YouTube it, but I can't begin to tell you how great the quality of their sketches were, just with the sound effects, just with everything. The way it was all put together was just perfection. And so I'd be laughing and having a great time while everyone else is listening to, Britney Spears and Blink-182 and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, so that sort of sums up. So, but my point being is that was where I sort of originally heard audio sketches, and I was like, oh, okay. So when I got a bit older, I was like, well, I could do that. I just need to make them a bit longer than what they would do, because their sketches would be, being on radio, they'd be about 4 or 5 minutes long. Right. And I knew that mine had to be a bit longer than that. But it was the first time I'd ever heard audio sketches that were hilarious and that had creativity, and you could do anything. You could set it in outer space. You could do whatever you wanted because it's audio.
Right.
So it was the coolest thing ever, and it was a really sort of eye-opening experience for me, learning, and listening to those boys and how they went about it. And it was just genuinely hilarious. So yeah, it was a shame when they went off the air, unfortunately. But I remember Mick Malloy once, they asked him why they wrapped it up, and he said if he has to write one more phone sex sketch, he's going to shoot himself. So that was no more phone sex sketches for Mick Malloy. That was the end for him, apparently. But no, they were fabulous. They were really, really funny, and it was really clever to listen to.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I definitely will have to check that out, because like in regular radio, your FM or your AM, that just doesn't really necessarily exist anymore. It's more of like, news, you get some sports, you get on, your top 40 radio station. Like I work part-time in radio as well. So, I just they won't spend the money. So like I said, right. They had a producer, and then they had two people working on their sketches, and then the two comedians themselves. So that's a staff of 5 for a 2-hour radio show. Right. I mean, there is no way a radio station nowadays is going to spend that kind of money on a radio program, even though it was simulcast across the country, and they would have been making a bucket of cash with advertising. Mm-hmm. But regardless, the stations are too narrow-minded now and too short-sighted, and they just wouldn't spend that kind of money on quality production, which is really sad, but unfortunately that's just the way radio is now. Yeah, it is unfortunate, but you're right. And now, like, at least in America, like local radio, really, it's a thing, but it's kind of not. There's a lot. You'll never get to the point where all these other bigger stations are, because it's insane. Like, I'm fortunate to be able to do the radio stuff that I do because I love it, and I get to talk to Green Bay Packers. I'm a big football fan. I love the Packers, and I get to do cool stuff like that. But, there's all these stations are kind of getting bought out now by these bigger conglomerates, and it's just like kind of simulcasting, or you have the same on-air talent in like 10 different states. And it's more like, it's just so generic because they just take the voice track. They don't even like back announce or front announce a song or anything. And they just plug it in this log and piss it out into the world. And then, they might not be bad. They might be good. But at the same time, it's like you're taking away opportunities for other people to be creative. Like you have a lot of creative people out there, and podcasting too. Everyone's got a podcast under the sun. It's just it's a competitive, it's a saturated market, which is fine. But like it's hard to get that reach. Like you really got to put in work and kind of do all that stuff too. So some of the best things being created right now, nobody even knows about and no one has ever heard, which is a bummer, but that's the world.
I agree with you. Everything you said is exactly true here in Australia. So we only have 3 radio networks, essentially. Like there's radio stations, but there's like Oz Stereo Australia own like 30 radio stations. And then what is it? The RGB Capital Network or whatever they're called. They own like 50 stations. And you're quite right. So for example, when Tony Martin and Mick Malloy got simulcast around the country, that means that like there used to be 2 drive time DJs at 50 stations, which is 100 people, and all of a sudden those 100 people all lost their jobs overnight. Now I loved Martin Malloy, so I was okay with that at the time. But when you put it in context, it's really sad that 100, and then when they left, it's not like they rehired local DJs to replace them. They put on a really shitty pair of guys who were pretty terrible, and they just simulcast them around the country. And it's to the point now where on the Gold Coast, there's one particular radio station that is independent, and their advertising slogan is like the only Gold Coast independent radio station. And like the Gold Coast has 750,000 people living on it, and it's only got what and the other, because the other radio stations just pipe it all in from either Sydney or Melbourne. So it's kind of outrageous that that's how it is. But unfortunately, they're all just about saving money. They don't care about the quality of the content. And yeah, it is a shame. It really is, because as you say, there's some really talented folks out there that, whether they be filmmakers or whether they be musicians or whatever it is, that struggle to get their stuff out there because they're struggling to be heard, because there's nowhere for them to sort of put their stuff besides their own platforms, and then trying to get that themselves seen is really difficult because there's just so many people out there and so many platforms, so it's really quite of a tricky situation for people in the entertainment industry now to be seen and heard. It really is. Right.
And if I if I see another like media position go to Ryan Seacrest, I'm going to jump off a building. Like the dude is all over. Like, just stick to the hosting American Idol. Like, we don't need you on American Top 40. You'll never replace Casey Kasem. No one ever would. But come on, give it to somebody else that's like been in radio forever and like loves radio the way Casey Kasem did. And no, they give it fucking Ryan Seacrest or Mario Lopez has a radio show too. Now it's just like, get bent, AC Slater. You had your time. You and your mullet, your Jerry curl mullet. Get,
Well, the same thing happens in Australia, man. You'll turn on the TV and there'll be like, the thing in Australia at the moment is to get journalists to host game shows and things like that. And it's like, what? And they've got like nil personality because they're a journalist. Because they're under contract with the network, they're like, oh, we'll just get them to host this because they have to work for us anyway because they're under contract, so we don't have to pay them any more money. So we'll just get them to host this show. And then the show gets cancelled after 5 minutes because it's shit, because the dude hosting it has the personality of a block of wood. Like it's just, and then they go, oh, well, Australian content doesn't work. Well, it would if you hired the right people. It would absolutely work. But because you hire idiots and you're trying to save money, of course it's not going to work, and it's the same all over the world, it would seem. It's a real shame because for people like me, it's hard. I was chatting to someone the other day. So with Beernuts Productions, it's good to make content. I love making my content, and I've got my crew and I've got my equipment, and making the content is pretty straightforward and pretty easy. But it's getting it seen because, I'm fighting against YouTube and all these multinational companies and so forth. And it's really, really tricky. So marketing and that sort of stuff is really the hardest thing, which is why obviously I appreciate folks like you for letting me come on the podcast and tell people about what I do. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, but one day it's going to pay off. We'll see you. You'll be hosting, you'll be the next host of Wheel of Fortune in America, and you'll be at the Oscars, and I'll be a presenter of sorts, and who knows?
You could be my date,
Hell yeah, dude. Anytime. But one last reminder of where people can view everything and see everything that you got going on, and how can they follow you on good old Instagram and all the social medias to be influenced to watch Beernuts Productions.
Absolutely. Well, beernutsproductions.com is where you download everything. And then, we're over all the socials. So Facebook, X, was Instagram, all of those. So all you need to do is just type in Beernuts Productions into your search engine, and we will we'll come up with all of our links, and YouTube obviously as well, with all the trailers and promos and stuff that I've done. So I've got tons of stuff on YouTube as well. So just type in Beernuts Productions and up we pop, and you'll be able to hopefully get yourselves moderately entertained by my nonsense.
Absolutely, man. And the proposal is great. It's a lot of fun. Definitely worth a watch. So I encourage anyone listening to go download it, enjoy it, get a laugh in, and support some independent art and creativity out there, because we definitely need that. Gough, I always appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you always doing it.
Before we go, Drew, I was just curious. You mentioned the Green Bay Packers earlier. I know we're in the off season now, but how are they going to go next year? Have they done good things with the trade and with the draft? I mean, have they got a good roster? Are we looking good for next year, Drew? Where are the Packers? Are we going to be having a good year or a bad year?
I think they'll be doing all right. They did some good things in the draft. And they made the moves necessary that they needed to make. I think we were somewhat of contenders last year. I think we have a good squad. We lost one of our wide receivers, but we have so many that are all so good. So hopefully it should be good. But I swear to God, if we lose to the Chicago Bears again, I will burn the state down.
Oh dear, that's a little extreme, but because you're my friend, I will support you. So
Thank you. That's like the biggest rivalry that we have is any team from Chicago. The Brewers, our baseball team, we hate the Cubs. I hate the Chicago Bulls in the NBA, and I really hate the Chicago Bears. And we have some people that will, like, because we don't have a professional hockey team, they'll be like, oh, I like the Chicago Blackhawks. And I was like, you can't do that. You can't hate every single one of their teams in like one. Like, you got to pick somebody else. It's just, you got to, but that's just my opinion. But I think they have a chance.
Because I got into, when I was in Canada many years ago, I got into the NHL and into the hockey, and I was surprised when we were having a chat on a previous episode, and you're like, there's nothing around, because I would have thought, with all the franchises that they've got, I mean, Florida's got 2, for goodness sake. Mm-hmm. You would have thought that at some point Milwaukee or somewhere would get an NHL franchise. It seems strange, because it's not like Wisconsin's a tiny little town. I mean, it's a big state, so yeah. And it's perfect climate. I mean, it's hockey kind of weather.
Right.
So it does surprise me that, you got Carolina have got a team. I mean, it just seems strange that Wisconsin's always been overlooked for the hockey.
I think it has something to do with the Blackhawks. I think they have some. They say like they'll lose too much of their fan base, because like really like the biggest city up from Chicago would be Milwaukee, like where the Bucks are and the Brewers are. So it makes sense to go there. Green Bay is a weird city. It's crazy that there's an NFL team there. It's a bigger city, but it's not like massive by any means. It's not like a metropolitan city or anything like that. It's pretty cool. Like, it's just like there's people's houses surrounding Lambeau Field. Like, and those houses now can be 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and worth $250,000 or like $500,000 because of where it's located. But I love Lambeau. It's such a good place. Oddly enough, I proposed at Lambeau. I was drunk off my ass, and the Packers were up at halftime, and I looked at my now wife and I said, "Let's do this." And then we went. She told everyone I was lying. We went to the jewelry store, still like half in the bag. We didn't drive; someone else did. The jeweler looks at us in all of our Packer obnoxious garb and She's like, this dude is wasted. Let's get these heavy hitters out. He's going to swipe no matter what. It doesn't matter. And that's what happened. So
full of romance. I love it.
yeah. The Packers won. I mean, what else could you possibly need? But yeah, we have a team called the Milwaukee Admirals. It's like they're affiliated with the NHL team in Nashville. So
Okay.
so that would really kind of be like the biggest connection. Like, so we should be theoretically Nashville Predator fans. But yeah, that's all we got. And the Admirals are fun. Those games are cool to go to. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever get an NHL team, unfortunately. So we got to pick somewhere else.
How many do they get to a game? Like average, the Admirals, how many would they pull to a game? Well, 5,000, 10,000? Like how many would they get in the stands?
Yeah, maybe 5,000. I haven't been to too many of them, but they do some cool stuff. They get a lot of bands to come and play afterwards, and you can like go on the ice. So like Dropkick Murphys have played after that. Cool. And like I saw Joan Jett play after a game one time, and that was fun. But they do, and they get a good support. They work with the college that's down there as well, and kind of get support from them. So they're not people enjoy them, but it's not NHL excitement. We had an NHL game in Milwaukee. They turned Pfizer Forum, which is where the Bucks play, into a arena or ice rink, and it was the Blackhawks versus the Minnesota. And it's sold out in seconds because Wisconsin doesn't get stuff like that. So like, the desire is there, but I just don't know that they'll ever do it, unfortunately.
Well, the NFL are coming out to Australia in September. So
nice.
I think it might be the Rams and the Seahawks, I think.
Okay.
And it's opening the season, like it's the first game of the NFL season. And so they've already sold it out. Like the MCG holds 100,000. And they sold it out in a matter of seconds. And I believe, like, the tickets are outrageously expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, even the nosebleed seats up the top were like $1,500. Like,
God.
It's just insanely expensive. And like the good seats were like 4,000 or 5,000. So
right.
like it's just, but it's like I said, it's sold out. So everyone's very excited. And like the MCG is our number one arena here in Australia. So it'll be fantastic. Like it'll be a wonderful spectacle. But the only problem is that it clashes with Australian rules football finals time.
Oh.
So the MCG staff have to turn an NFL stadium into an AFL stadium in about 36 hours, which they said is doable. But they're going to have to, I'm assuming they're going to be working through the night. So, because they've got to turn the rectangular back into an oval and have it ready for the Australian rules because it's the preliminary final weekend that weekend. So it's a big deal. So it'll be sold out for that for the Australian rules finals. So they'll have 100,000 on like a Thursday night, and then on the Saturday night they'll have another 100,000 again for the AFLs. So yeah, so it come September time, all the NFL fans will be watching a game out of Melbourne, Australia.
Hell yeah, that'll be a good game. The Rams are good. Seahawks, obviously, they're I hate them, but with the Packers have a lot of sour moments between the Seahawks, and I will never support them. But I like the Rams. They're fun team.
The Seahawks have an Australian punter, so we all like the Seahawks just because of the connection there with Australia having an Australian punter. But there's a few Aussies now that play in the NFL. Obviously, we've got the Jordan, the guy who plays for Philly. He's a big lad, used to be rugby union, but we've got a bunch of punters now that play for a bunch of different franchises.
Nice.
So I think there's about 5 or 6 punters that are Australian. So, and the Seahawks have one of them. And he killed it I watched the Super Bowl, and he killed it during the Super Bowl. He did real well. So, yeah. But, yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to get to. But obviously, yeah, it costs a lot of money. It's like that in the States too. Like Packer games are outrageously expensive, and to get season tickets, like my son, who is going to be 13, he's been on it since he was born.
So what's the waiting list? About 20 years or something like that, or
20 to 30? Yeah, it's a long time. So maybe one day We'll get there.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's why you put him on the waiting list when he came out of the womb, so that when he's 30 and he can go down and enjoy a beer and enjoy the game. So
Yeah.
he'll thank you one day.
I sure hope so. And if not, I'll be like, well, those tickets are mine, and I'll enjoy them one way or another.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. It's yeah. No, well, I'm looking forward to seeing. Obviously, I won't be going to the game down in Melbourne, but it'll be on TV for sure. So it'll be hopefully it'll be an entertaining game.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I'm ready for it, but at the same time, I need to get through. I need summer to be here first, so a little relaxation and all that, because football stresses me out as much as I love it. You know, I don't like to see my Green Bay Packers lose, but it does happen. And we are plagued by losses at the worst time. So it's just how it goes.
Well, you know, when they've got good fans like you, Drew, I'm sure it'll all be okay. It'll all work out in the end.
Yeah, they're all getting paid millions of dollars anyways. So, I mean, win or lose, it doesn't matter to them. Like the check is clearing, and they'll be okay.
So how many does Lambeau Field hold? About 30,000? Because it's not the biggest stadium, I don't think. But how many do they fit in there?
They've expanded. They added like 5,000 seats a handful of years ago. I mean, it's all like they're like they double them as club seating, but that's like they're just fold down chairs, but they're way up there. But I don't know. It might be around that. 81,441.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big stadium.
Yeah, and it's an older stadium, but it's not like nothing fancy about it, which is like kind of the appeal. People like that, you know, that's just kind of is what it is. But yeah, they added like those seats to it, and most of them are sold out for season ticket holders, and they'll sell them as well, and they'll make a ton of money on it. It's insane, but yeah, every once in a while I'll get to one. Hopefully, maybe this next season I'll get to one. It's been a few years. The last time I was there, they played the Kansas City Chiefs, and Taylor Swift wasn't too far away from us.
Well, it's because she wanted to be on Dudes with Brews on a Porch. She's heard the podcast.
I would love to have her as a guest, actually. That would help a lot.
Well, you know, you just got to keep plugging away. Same with Anne Hathaway. I remember your mild obsession with Anne Hathaway. So same deal. You know, you just keep putting the good vibes out there, and you never just know. Right.
Everyone can enjoy pints and all that good stuff, man. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you and always, you know, being in connection. I think, you know, I look at my memories, and I think it was like 8 years ago or something like that, 9 years ago almost, that we've started talking. So that's a long relationship, Gough. That's more than most marriages.
It is. Well, I expect you to get very drunk and to take me to the jewelry shop any minute now.
You'll be surprised. I'll keep it a surprise. I'll keep it spontaneous, because that's the way it should be. So
absolutely, it should. Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Drew. And enjoy your evening.